Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. So I just got finished watching Metal Jesus Rock's newest video about the Sega Saturn, and he did this video, it was a great video, with Anna from Circuits and Coffee. And she seems really likable and like friendly all the time and really knows her stuff. So she inspired me with her gusto. She inspired me to make a quick video just talking about some Sega Saturn games I like a lot. These are all imports, so you will need either a mod chip or an Action Replay 4M to play them, which is what I do, the Action Replay. As she said in her video with Metal Jesus, the Action Replay does, you can do cheats with it, you can back up saves with it, there's a lot more room than the Saturn itself, I believe. You can play imports. It also has a 1 meg and a 4 meg RAM card built in, so for those games that require the RAM card or maybe just upgrade with the RAM card, you're all set. I think it doesn't work with one fighting game or maybe two, but I think the King of the Fighters, whatever, there was so many of them on the Saturn. But so some of these games I haven't dove into like a great deal, so please forgive my ignorance when it comes to some of the gameplay or some of the memories I have with them. These are games that I always intend to like, oh, I gotta go back to this, this was so interesting, or I really like the setting or the characters, and then I just get so busy with work and overwhelmed with everything else that by the time you sit down at the end of the night, you don't always want to play like a Japanese game you can't understand, that you have to use a frequently asked questions guide or whatever to walk through. So some of these games I just have like they have a weird feeling to them, and I like that. I like when games evoke a kind of creepiness or some kind of intrigue, if you will. So first of all, I'll start with a game that I haven't played a lot of at all, and that's Cradle. This is also on the 3DO. This is a full motion video cutscene game with a top-down point-and-click adventure game. What struck me odd about this game is it always looked kind of creepy, and the music is really cool. I like the intro song so much, I think I pulled it off the internet and put it on YouTube just for people to hear. There was a cool comment on, and I always remember this, there was a cool comment on a video about this game that somebody was showing off, like, you know, 10 minutes of it or whatever, and someone in the comment section said, I had this game on my 3DO, I played it all the time, I don't speak Japanese, I got up to this part in a hospital and then got completely overwhelmed and didn't know where to go and what to do, and stopped and got stuck. There's no walkthroughs or anything on the internet for this game that I've found, so when you're playing this, keep in mind, like I said, you really need some Japanese behind you or to figure it out like by trial and error, but it's really cool in terms of like the setting and the creepiness, and you don't see these like how do I put it, it's like an isometric view point and click adventure game, but then there's, like I said, cutscenes, which I don't understand. So Cradle's interesting. Definitely at least just peek at it on the internet. You don't have to buy it obviously, but definitely take a look at it. Another one is Darkseed. Darkseed came out on the PC. This is also, I believe, if I remember correctly, a Japanese exclusive. It may have gotten a PAL release, but I can't recall right now. And it's in English, but the subtitles are, I believe, in Japanese, if I remember correctly. So it's a point-and-click adventure game. It's a side-scrolling point-and-click adventure game type of thing. You're this guy who thinks he has something in his head that's going to go off, and if you don't, you know, complete the game in time, your head explodes or whatever. It's an H.R. Geiger, or H.R. Giger, if you will, inspired game. I think I don't know if he wrote the story or just did the art for it, but you could totally see his elements in the game. So if you like H.R. Geiger and you like point-and-click adventure games with horror elements that are really difficult, check this out. Sort of in the vein of like Maniac Mansion, but I would say much harder. This one, again, I haven't played a lot of, but the setting always interested me, and the character design. It's very anime-ish looking, so I don't know if it has an anime to go along with it, but I can't recall. The Apocalypse 4, I know the title up front, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's a turn-based RPG, and the fighting is like Earthbound, where it's first person and you see the characters only, you don't see yourself. And it has something to do with like fighting off a demon or the devil. There's lots of religious elements to it. It's got a lot of cool like sort of gore and darkness to it, but in an anime setting. And this one always intrigued me. This was the one that I was like, oh my god, I wish this was in English. This one, I believe, does have some English translations online, so you should be able to get through it. And with games like this, you could sort of figure out, as long as you know where to go next, what to do, who to fight and grind and everything. So this was a pretty cool one. I apologize that I can't remember the title in English here, but this is a good one. Another good one that, similar in terms of the game that's, you know, only in Japanese, so it's a little difficult to play, is the Samurai Shodown RPG, Bushido Retsuden. Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing that right. And this is based on the Samurai Shodown lore, but it's a turn-based RPG, but the characters are side by side, like Final Fantasy VI, for instance. And again, all in Japanese, so a little difficult. Has some really cool animations. You can pick from, I think it's 3 of the Samurai Shodown characters, and then play through the RPG. I don't recall if each of them have different storylines, or if you're just doing the same one for all 3 with different dialogue in between. But if you're a Samurai Shodown guy, and again, you can slog through the Japanese, I would recommend this. This is a cool little game that nobody really talks about. Let's see, I got down to the last 4. So this one did come out in English and in the PAL region, I think. I picked up the Japanese version because, I don't know, I already have, I think, a digital version on my Xbox 360, and that's Guardian Heroes. This, sadly, doesn't have the original box or manual or anything. I just printed something out. And the reason for that is the game's about, I think it was like $20 or $30 usually. It's even more in English, the American version. You know, you might be better off buying the digital copy. But I got this like $6 or $7, I think, around there. So I was like, I don't really care if I have the case and stuff at that point. I prefer it. But this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with RPG elements where you can upgrade your character. And when you speak to the people during the level, they will give you options of things you can do. So like, do you want to go to this level or that level? And you know, and depending on what you do, you go to a different place, and the story changes, and then the endings change. There's different endings, and different characters you can recruit, but it's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Great, great multiplayer fun. I'm pretty sure it says here 1 to 6 players. I don't remember what the digital one was. I want to say the digital one was 2 players, but I played a good deal of that one online, and I had a lot of fun with friends. So definitely check out Guardian Heroes in any language. You can get it, but definitely the English version if that's your native tongue, because then you can understand the story. Another side-scrolling beat-em-up that has since been re-released on, I believe, the Wii U, and I think digitally on PS4 and Xbox One, or PS3 and Xbox 360. It's the Dungeons & Dragons collection. It has 2 games in there. It has, I think it's Shadow over Mystaria and Tower of Doom, if I recall. And it's a great side-scrolling beat-em-up in the vein of like King Arthur or Aliens vs. Predator, the old Cadillacs and dinosaurs. It's made by Capcom, so, you know, Final Fight. So you know if you're playing like a great side-scrolling beat-em-up, Capcom most likely made it. Great design. You can upgrade. I think you can upgrade your characters, and you can, you know, buy items and potions in between the levels. It has that like gauntlet feel to it. So if you like side-scrolling beat-em-ups and you like medieval stuff, wholeheartedly recommend this. I'm pretty sure this was a Japanese exclusive until it got ported over digitally, and then I think physically on the, was it the Wii? I think it was the Wii. A really excellent fighting game that was recommended to me, and then reinforced by Carter's Retro Reviews, my buddy Ben Carter, Cyberbots. Cyberbots is a Capcom fighting game, 2D, with mechs. So you can pick different mechs, and each of them have different abilities, and think of something like, you know, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, but with mechs. Really cool looking game. Lots of interesting like anime type stuff going on, and just a great, very competent fighter. Another one I would like to mention that I thought I grabbed but I didn't is I can't think of the name. Seven something. It's a anime-looking fighting game, 2D. I think it's also, that one's not Capcom. That one's SNK, I believe. And the reason it's called 7 whatever is because it has 7 characters you can choose from. Reminded me of this a bit. Both excellent, really great fighting games. I apologize, I thought I grabbed it, but obviously I didn't. And finally, you know what? I'm going to cut here and go grab that one. I want to talk about it. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. So I grabbed the game, and right when I grabbed it, like, oh yeah, it's Waku Waku 7. This is a pretty good port. It was actually Sunsoft, what I was going to say. I said SNK. It's a pretty good port. People say it's not as, obviously, graphically as nice. It's not like a one-to-one port from the arcade version, but it's a really great, like, anime-looking, funny fighting game. So if you like 2D fighters, check out Waku Waku 7. This kind of flew under people's radar, I think, especially because it's an import. It's not super pricey, but it's really cool. And there's 7 characters to choose from. They're all like different and strange. I think the weirdest one I remember is like it's a big stuffed animal cat or something with a little girl riding on top of it. 2 more and then we're done, I promise. So these games sort of remind me of each other a little bit, but the first one is Waku Rotor. And this one, I was always intrigued in because of the Sega Saturn commercial. My nose is itchy. Where he's talking about this game, but obviously there's like different commercials, and one of them was for this one, and I always thought it was strange. They show like a train in the commercial, and I was like, what is this, a train simulator? And for years I didn't really know what it was. It's actually a sort of like Final Fantasy Tactics or Vandal Hearts. It's a isometric 3D turn-based strategy RPG. It's really cool. If I remember correctly, it's got like a cyberpunk theme to it, or like a steampunk type theme to it, and obviously you can't read it unless you know Japanese, but the game's really fun. It's a Japanese exclusive. If you don't mind, again, going through that with the language barrier, this game is really cool, and I would recommend it to anyone who likes strategy RPGs and is willing to keep an open mind. And finally, one of my favorite Sega Saturn games, even though I am so bad at it and it's difficult, and I just found it to be really unique and interesting, Cyberdoll. And before you ask, no, it's not a pornography game. So Cyberdoll is like a cyberpunk turn-based RPG, but the gameplay is turn-based where it's side by side, and then you can move, like sort of pick where you want to start, I think close, medium, or far away, and then each of your weapons are better at certain ranges. The main character looks something like, sort of, very vaguely, like a Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. There's this like whole dark storyline going on about you like having to, I don't know, use your powers to save. I tried to read into it before I played it, like save the Earth or save from these like evil robots. The encounter rate is hard, and the people you fight are hard, and I had to run around for like an hour trying to figure out where to go. Finally went to some area, talked to some guy, and then triggered this cutscene, and then this in-game cutscene, and then started fighting these robots or something. But the music's cool. The feeling of the game is cool. It has like this kind of eerie feeling, but with that like 90s vibe going on, with some cyberpunk elements, a lot of cyberpunk elements, with neon flashing all over the place. So I would totally recommend these games as long as the Japanese doesn't turn you off. I mean, especially with the fighters, Waku Waku 7 and Cyberbots, you don't need to know Japanese for that. It's a fighting game. So check out some of these titles, and let me know if you've played any of them, what you think of them. Let me know if you've gotten further in them than I have, which I'm sure you have, and you can tell me a little more. So thanks guys for watching, and check out Circuits and Coffee, Anna, really great channel, and I look forward to more of her work. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.